Good day everyone, this is going to be my Magicka Necromancer build and gameplay video for the Blackwood patch. I'm going to start by going over the build real quick, but first I do want to mention that you can find all information, all details on the website as well, which you can see on the top of the screen here. So for the build, the sets are going to be Diamond's Victory on the front bar with an Inferno Staff, and Clever Alchemist on the back bar with a Swornboard, 2 Pirate Skeleton and Death Dealer's Feet. A little explanation about the set. Pirate Skeleton is basically a free 10% damage reduction for Magicka Necromancer. You don't notice that Minor Defile, because Minor Defile is something you'll have on you anyway because of the resistance flesh heal. So even though Magicka Necromancer is already super tanky in itself, having that free 10% on top of that is really nice for brawling, be it in solo or in small scale situations. Then for the back bar sets, Clever Alchemist is pretty straightforward. You drink a potion on the back bar, you get a lot of damage and you can burst with it. And then the max health bonuses will allow me to get over 30k health, which again is nice for tankiness. Front bar set is Diamond's Victory. This basically is going to have that bonus of ranged and melee supremacy up all the time on Magicka Necromancer, because if you do a light attack into elemental weapon, this already procs both supremacies from that set, and the blast bonus will also proc both supremacies. Then for the last piece here, it is the Mythic, Death Dealer's Feet. I think that's best in slot for the Mythic in combination with this build, but you can slot that for something else like Malakath or a 2-piece trainee in case you don't have Death Dealer's Feet. For the traits, I run as much impenetrable as possible, though right now I have 5 impen and 2 well fitted to have a little bit more mobility during my gameplay as well. But full impen is just fine as well. Then for the Jewelry, 3 infused with 1 Magicka regeneration enchant and 2 damage, spell damage enchants. The front bar is a sharpened staff with a shock glyph for a chance to get minor vulnerability, and on the back bar there is a Magicka return glyph. This doesn't matter much, a Magicka glyph on the shield with well fitted and powered. Then for the other information, the food I use is Orzogga's Smoked Bear Haunch. This is basically going to give me the regeneration I need together with the 800 Mundus. The Stamp Sustain this also gives is nice to have in solo PvP, because I need to do a lot of roll dodging, sprinting, breaker free and all that. So this helps me not run out of stamina during all of that. Especially with Death Dealers also going to, which is also going to give me like 17k stamina. It's going to be hard to run out of stamina. And then the potions I run are Essence of Immovability, giving me the necessary Major Prophecy, Immovability and Magicka Restore. Major Prophecy is needed if you don't run Malakath, because you want to have a decent spell crit chance. That will go about to 33 to 35%, and much of that is going to be due to Major Prophecy. Then for the race, this is a High Elf, Breton is fine as well. And then it's also important to be Vampire Stage 3 in order to get the Undeath passive. Then for the skills, pretty straightforward. Blast Bones and Dawnbreaker is going to be your main burst combo. You want to hit the Dawnbreaker right as the Blast Bones hits, and that is going to deal a big amount of AoE damage on the enemy group you're fighting or on an enemy player. And if this is buffed up properly by Clever Alchemist and Diamond's Victory, this is going to take away a good chunk of their health, or might even just one-shot them. Then as a spammable I have Elemental Weapon. Clench here is my stun. It's a bad stun, but I do like to have it sometimes to combo with a Stalking Blast Bones or as a defensive CC when somebody is pressuring me too much. Degeneration is basically there for the spell damage buff, and Elemental Train. On the back bar there is Race Against Time, mostly for the mobility. Intensive Mender, the best heal over time in the game. Mortal Coil, another heal over time. With these two combined and the Undeath passive, it's already going to be very hard to kill you. But in case you get pressured too much anyway, or there's a group on you, then you also use Resistant Flesh, the best spammable heal in the game. And then Summoner's Armor, the armor buff here on the back bar is optional, either a Goliath in order to get that tankiness when you turn into a Goliath, and then you can keep on pressuring the enemy while you're in the middle of an enemy group, or other optional ult is Temporal Guard. Then it's purely for the minor protection, and you focus completely on Dawnbreaker, getting those big bursts in with Blast Bones and Dawnbreaker and killing enemies this way. One additional note I need to make with skills is that Clench is definitely something that is optional. As I said, it's a pretty bad CC, so if you want, you can also slot the skill out for Avid Boneyard, and you have that self synergy you can use, which is further going to amplify that big AoE burst you can deal with Blast Bones and Dawnbreaker, especially if you also change your jewelry traits then to Harmony, which is something that is advisable if you do choose to go with Avid Boneyard. You won't see that. You won't see me using that, however, because I find it very difficult to place and hit in any kind of open field situations of even like around a tree or a rock. You need to specifically play in choke points in order to get that AoE burst with Avid Boneyard and all that hitting. For most solo situations, I actually just prefer having that defensive CC and the extra spell damage from Infused. Then lastly, for the champion points, on the blue tree I have Master at Arms, Biting Aura, Duelist Rebuff and Fighting Finesse. Fighting Finesse is a flex spot. You can also slot Resilience for more critical resistance in case you get like bursted a lot by Nightblade or something. And also another option is Deadly Aim. This is going to buff your light attacks and elemental weapon. And this is just, Fighting Finesse is just going to make your big bursts when they crit hit even harder. Then for the red CPs, I have Survival Instincts, Rejuvenation, Juggernaut and Slippery. The green CPs to help me going around in Cyrodiil, Rationer, Gifted Rider, Warmount and Steed's Blessing. But that's it for the build. Hope it's been useful. And now there's going to be some clips of gameplay showcasing how tanky this build is, and especially those big bursts with Blast Bones and Dawnbreaker, which I find quite satisfying to watch myself. But in any case, I hope you will enjoy this video and have a good day. See you next time.